Hi, my name is Yasmin Tarehi, and this is Startup Confessionals, where we interview startup founders and entrepreneurs in the Middle East and Africa. We'll learn about some of the biggest lessons these founders discovered on their journey from the personal to the professional and share how they keep themselves motivated. Today's episode is with Islam Shawky, the co-founder and CEO of Paymob, the leading digital payments provider in the MENA region. Islam started his career during his studies at the American University in Cairo to build Paymob, which has grown to process millions of transactions through the online and offline digital solutions. I'm super excited to welcome Islam to the show today. So welcome, Islam.
Hello, welcome, Yasmin. Pleasure to be with you.
So Islam, can you tell us what your value proposition is, maybe in your own words, with our audience before we get started?
Well, in the simplest form, we try to help businesses and consumers perform digital transactions and give them better access to financial services.
And why did you start this company, and why did you focus on payments?
Actually, it's a very interesting story. We started payments by complete mistake. We had no intention of building a payments company whatsoever. The founding team, we met in university and we're thinking of building this social commerce play. We actually had a name for it. We used to call it Social Tab. It was never launched, unfortunately, because when we were in the final staging of launching this product, we've went to banks and to payment companies because we wanted to integrate payment infrastructure into this e-commerce product. And the problem is that we realized that the payment offering at that time, and this was late 2014, the payment offering that the banks were offering that time wasn't catered for the digital economy. And then we realized that the onboarding was so slow, the APIs were very cumbersome, the pricing model was extremely high and has setup fees and maintenance fees. And then we took like a step back and we thought that if we were bullish about the digital economy and because we wanted to participate in as an e-commerce player, and if there is no payment infrastructure, how would we see like hundreds of thousands and maybe millions of independent merchants and entrepreneurs who want to sell a good or help their customers with a service? How would they be enabled in a digital payment infrastructure? So we took the step back and we said that we're going to pivot and that we are going to pay this infrastructure and put in it everything that we wish we had, and then give this infrastructure to everyone who wants to build something.
Is this kind of similar to like a Stripe, or what would you say is like a comparable product, maybe, other products in the market?
Well, yes, it's like Stripe meets Square kind of product because we have like the POS and the online. So that's mostly it.
And, when was the moment you realized you had product market fit? You started this when you were at university, more or less. How long did it take you to really feel that you had the right product market fit? Building an infrastructure, sometimes people build too much, right? And their end clients can't afford it. And then sometimes they don't build enough, right? So I'm curious, like, what kind of customers were you aiming to go after, and when was the moment that you realized you had product market fit?
Yes, the problem with payment companies is that there is a very long lead time before you get to the market. So it's not like a product that like a website that you can just pull a couple of weeks on and you launch and have an MVP and see how it goes. The problem is that for us to launch, we had to pass by a lot of banks. We were kicked out of 3 of the biggest banks in Egypt, because I wanted to realize 3 people still at university going to bank officials telling them, well, guys, the payment solution that you've been offering for the past 10 to 15 years isn't good enough and you need to change it. We had our fair amount of laughs and jokes. People thought that we're definitely crazy. So definitely it took us some time for people to realize that we're actually serious about what we're doing. And actually for us to be able to reach this moment is that there were 4 banks that actually offered the service that we need to integrate with. We failed with 3 and we had only one option with the last bank. I mean, if this bank said no, we would have never launched. So we said that before we actually go to them, we're going to go and sit with their biggest clients and sign with them an MOU that just says that we like what these guys have showed us. And hopefully if the bank adopted their product, we might be interested to use it. So there is nothing binding, just a very, very simple MOU. It was a 1-page, but we wanted to have it signed in order to just showcase to the bank that there is interest in what we're saying. And some of your clients are really genuinely interested and that they signed a piece of paper.
Yeah, so I'm super curious. So when that happened, what did the other banks do? Did they follow this, the first bank? What was the reaction of the market?
Well, the problem is that it took us from the meeting that we showed the bank, the last bank that we have this MOU signed. From the moment this meeting happened till launch, we took 14 months. And this was the bank actually very excited about launching. So they weren't pushing back. I mean, from the moment they said, yes, we want to do this, till the moment we launched there is a 14 months kind of lead time to that. And unfortunately, this project that we launched, I mean, it wasn't a success at all. And right now we actually don't have it. So, I mean, we spent like more than 18 months building something and convincing the banks and all of this. And once we launched it after 14 months, it didn't scale and it didn't actually have the right, the figures that we were hoping for actually didn't. So, I mean, we came to the realization that we almost wasted around 2 years of our lives. And actually we delayed our graduation because we had a gap year because we wanted to focus on the business. So convinced our parents not to graduate, and we've almost ruined our professional career and actually spent some money and we didn't achieve anything. So, I mean, it was a significant frustration 2 years down the road because there was a huge, we had this huge hope because it took us a lot of time to launch. So we thought that we were going to change the world. And then this first product flopped completely.
Wow. It's so interesting. I think a lot of companies and a lot of people wouldn't have the stomach to spend that much time working on a product, that they couldn't see immediate results with. And so I just find it really fascinating. I find that a lot of founder stories, have these years or these many months of, I'm not going to call it a failure because every time that something doesn't work, it's always a lesson. So I'm sure that, even though you spent 18 months on this first product, you probably learned a lot, right? About your product roadmap, about your ecosystem, your customer, your team, right? Like a lot of dynamics of like how to work together as a team. So so I'm sure that looking back, even though it was probably a long time, do you feel like there was something that you took away from that time?
No, I mean, as you said, of course, it adds to the experience. Definitely, we took this lesson and we sat together as a team and we said, I mean, what did we do right and what did we miss? And how can we take this lesson and just put it in the DNA of the company and try to use what we've reached and make something big out of it. So, I mean, that was the moment whereby we said, I mean, we still believe in what we're doing. I mean, we still believe in the end goal. Maybe we chose a wrong path or maybe we executed in the wrong way with the wrong partners, but we were still big believers in the end goal. So we said, as long as we still believers in this goal, then there has to be another way to do it. And clearly we like bet the house on it. So I mean, failure wasn't an option kind of. So I mean, we were just determined to try one option, other option, and just try to do it at the end, because this was our only uh, hope of success, because we have done a lot of sacrifices in order to reach here.
What about the sacrifices? I think, the show's called Startup Confessionals. So I like to kind of peel back the layer behind the machine and really talk about what are these sacrifices? And also what are some of the kind of the adversity that you had to go through on your journey towards building Paymob? Like, these are the things I think a lot of people don't talk about. And I think it's just important for people to recognize that it's not always about the end result. The process also comes with ups and downs and a lot of adversity. You shared obviously one example about this product that you worked on for 18 months. But yeah, I'm just curious, what else do you feel like, people wouldn't know necessarily about what you had to sacrifice, or the adversity that you as a team had to deal with and you individually had to deal with?
I mean, definitely, as you said, I mean, some of the stories and the hype that's about entrepreneurship and starting your own company and being your own boss and all of this, definitely it comes with its benefits. But definitely, I mean, I was talking to a younger colleague that was saying that told me he wants to launch his own startup, and he's around 24 years old. We started a bit younger than him, and I was telling him that if you truly believe in what you're doing and you're planning on wasting the best years of your life, so I mean you're 24, you probably cannot leave what you're doing at least for a decade. So if you're planning to waste 10 years, maybe the best 10 years of your life sitting in the office, working with your colleagues on this and going to meetings, and you feel that this is something you want to do, definitely go for it. But if you feel that this is you're going to be miserable, then you don't believe enough in the idea. So definitely you're going to sacrifice your whole life. Your whole existence is going to be, I mean, summed up in this company. You're going to work for 18 to 20 hours for the foreseeable future. And then you're going to hire a lot of people. You're going to convince a lot of people to leave their careers, and hopefully you're hiring great people. So most probably they're leaving great opportunities in order to come join the team and be part of the journey. So you have to be extremely believing in this. And this has nothing to do with the financial benefit that you are getting, because, I mean, probability says most of startups are going to fail. So I mean, if people are hoping for money, there are a lot of other professions that will actually make you rich without actually having this huge risk.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. I think that also another thing we don't talk about when it comes to being a founder of a company is what you learn about yourself in the process. Like, I think that so much of life is about learning about who you are. And every time I've talked to so many founders, even ones who have companies that just failed, they said, I learned more about myself in that experience than I have in any other period of my life. And so, I think that that's also just like a piece that a lot of people don't talk about. It's like, yeah, you could spend your 20s, doing other stuff, but how deeply will you get a chance to really connect and know yourself? So I'm just curious, has that been an experience for you? Like, do you feel like you are more self-aware maybe than other people in your age group?
No, definitely. I mean, the experiences and the ups and downs and this, whether all the good times and the bad times that you see, is just something definitely that adds to your character. And definitely because you don't do this alone, you have a team and co-founders and founding team, and you come to realize that this bond. That's why we feel that we're more of a family, because for the past 5 years we spent time together more than any other people in our lives. So the team becomes more of the family. because these are the ones that you sit with for the absolute majority of the day. And these ups and downs, and especially the downs, are the ones that actually makes you feel that you've chosen the right track and you've chosen the right partners. Because I mean, they always say in a bull market everybody's happy. I mean, where you're all succeeding and everything is great, and this is actually definitely a criteria for our investors. So I mean, we don't like to partner with investors that are going to cheer us up when things are going in the right direction, because this is going to happen. I look at this investor and I say, is this the kind of partner that when I have a tough quarter, is he the type of partner that's going to sit with me and try to sort this out and help us, or is this someone that's going to take advantage of this? So definitely it adds a lot to your character, and you realize a lot of things. I mean, I've never thought that. I mean, not in my wildest dream I would see that before I was 30. I mean, I'm not yet 30, and the team has grown to more than 650 people. I've never, not in my wildest dreams, I thought that this company is going to employ more than 600 people.
Wow, so exciting. So, Islam, I want to talk a little bit about the kind of like how your priorities have shifted based on the stage of the company, and like how you have changed and how things have changed since you raised your first round of funding.
Yes, so I mean, definitely for every stage you have, I mean, so for the beginning, you want to exist. So there was like, we want to be a company rather than a cool presentation. So you're mostly focused on getting to the market, on launching something. So I mean, everybody just, you're like working for something for a year and a half, and everybody says, well, what do you do? So I mean, you say, hopefully we're going to launch this and that. So definitely at this stage, you want to go to the market, you want to launch something. So that's the first thing, and you want to like prove that what you're saying or what you have been promising can be delivered. So that's a very important phase. And the second thing is that you want to prove that this has scale. So you start identifying, how can I scale given that you don't have any resources because you still didn't raise, or you raised a very small amount. So I mean, you try to learn that you're going to say no more than you're going to say yes. So how can you be extremely laser focused on what is the mission? Why am I doing this company? And every time you go back to this and say, we're doing this because we want to help the merchant. We want to increase the GDP of the merchant. We want to help this digital economy. So you need to have every product and every initiative that you spend time on needs to be reflecting into this mission. So that has been this discipline. I mean, definitely we've done things that didn't do, and these were all mistakes, and it consumes time and it consumed resources. So this is something that we've definitely learned, and definitely the experience with raising capital, and depends on the stage. I mean, different types of investors, they have different requirements and different approach. So this experience, of course, is something of huge value. And right now, you try to teach yourself that, I mean, you have the tendency to do everything on your own, because, I mean, we were 6 for a long period of time, and then we've grown to like 30, 40 people. And from late 2019 till now, we've like went from 50 people to like 650 people. So the idea is that right now you try to empower and delegate and try to trust people more to actually do things and do mistakes. I don't mind that. And you try to surround yourself with people that are more capable, that are more experienced. I mean, one of my dear mentors tell me, I mean, you will only be successful when you go to a room and you feel that you're in the least smart person on the table. That's the definition of success. When you surround yourself with people that are far more smarter and far more experienced than you, this is when you realize that you have a successful team. And actually, I set up to this. Whenever I see someone that actually have something to offer more than the team and more than myself, I'm very keen to make him or her join the team in order to make use of their talents, whether this is in marketing, commercial, and growth, and product, finance. So, I mean, I came out from the university, and I'm a mechanical engineer, so definitely I don't know anything about accounting or finance. So, and I cannot learn this. I'll never be better than someone who's spent the last 15 years being a finance head for a major FMCG company or a major mobile network operator. So definitely this is the time where you try to get people that are good at what they do and give them the freedom, the authority and the flexibility to actually do what they do best.
I love that, like empowering people to really just excel at whatever, function or role that they're in. And I love, that was actually an advice that my mentor gave me as well, like be the dumbest person in the room.
Exactly.
which is difficult, I think, at times, but also, definitely worth it long term. So I love that. Islam, can we talk a little bit about how the pandemic may have impacted your business? Like, how did you guys deal with the pandemic and the crisis? Did it affect you at all? I mean, since you're a digital payments company, perhaps it didn't, but I'm just, curious.
No, it had a huge effect. Definitely the pandemic is an unfortunate event that made a lot of families and people all over the globe suffer. But I mean, on our end, being in the digital industry and specifically in digital payments, of course, it was a huge blessing because this wave of digitization, digital transformation that happened, I believe, what we were forecasting that people is going to do in 2-3 years, all of a sudden there was a demand and requirement that this should be done in the next 2 to 3 months. I mean, this quarter when the lockdown happened in Egypt, we saw our onboarding rates, merchant onboarding rates increasing by 450%. And so a lot of merchants that were only focused on cash and were only focused on brick and mortar, they didn't have online shops. The moment they realized that all of their shops are closed and the digital channel is the only channel whereby they can communicate and sell, and this is the only revenue-making channel, they started putting some effort in and they started using our services. So, I mean, definitely it was a huge catalyst for digital payments. I mean, once people are in their home, they started ordering online, they started consuming and utilizing these apps that have our payment gateway inside for payments. So we found that a lot of merchants did a lot of traffic when it comes to the COVID. So that was a huge blessing. The problem was that we had to train people within the pandemic, and definitely we had to manage the company, and we had to ensure that everybody is doing their job in a safety environment. Because for me, I mean, team is number one. I mean, we're all about the team, and this is something that was worrying me, because I didn't want to push people and then to have someone contracting the virus because they were pushed and because they wanted to do their targets or something like this. So this keeping this balance and enforcing this culture and adapting to this was something for us very challenging. The good thing is that already before the pandemic, for the development side, we had a work from home policy. So what we've done is that I asked our technology team to actually just train the whole company on what they already were doing and all of the tools that they were using and to collaborate and to do. So what we have been doing on the tech part, we just very fast rolled out on the whole company. Since March 2020, we've closed our offices and it's still not officially open. Some of the people now come to the office, but we asked people officially not to come. So, and we said that we're going to stay this way until end of 21, until we find that people are vaccinated and it's normal to go back to the office. And we've completely canceled any group meetings or anything because we don't want to have any mass gatherings for the whole team and so forth. And we tried to adapt. And I believe, like, just to tell you, we've in our merchant base grown 50 times within the pandemic.
Wow.
From Jan 2020 till now, we did 50x. Our merchant network has grown 50 times.
That is so awesome and very inspiring. Amazing. And I love the thoughtfulness that you put behind your workforce and making sure that their health and wellness is like the biggest priority, because I think a lot of people forget that. So just really, really congrats that the last year worked out the way it did for you. So Islam, I'd like to close this out with one or two more questions, but I wanted to ask, what sort of things have surprised you the most on this journey? You've been at this game now for many years. If you look back, like, what has surprised you?
Genuinely, the most thing that I'm surprised about is that how people that has will, they manage to, personally grow and, change, whatever they learn so fast and adapt and personally, do stuff that I genuinely didn't realize. So, we hired someone to handle our call center operations, and this guy didn't know how to code. Fast forward 2.5 years, and he's one of the best developers and best developers at Paymob. This kind of personal growth and of sense of ownership and devotion is the thing that actually extremely surprised me.
Wow.
Not in my wildest dreams, I would just, I feel so humbled going to the office and just sitting with my own humble opinion, some of the best minds in the country, and solving all of these complex problems and these products that, one of our products, we have like more than 10 million people using it. So, whatever you do, you need to realize that this is going to affect the payment behavior of more than 10 million people, which is around 10% of the population. So that's a huge thing we have going, and definitely we need to spend a lot of time and to have a lot of great minds in order to scale this and solve for this. So this devotion and growth is something that I'm extremely amazed, and the amount of smart people that actually might not be coming from great universities and might be coming from places that you didn't know that. You can find a developer that speaks perfect English and all of this, because those people just stayed, a lot of nights just trying to personally grow and to learn more. And this ability is something that strikes me.
I love that so much, and it's very inspiring. So for those listening, yeah, anything is possible, right? Anything is possible.
Yes, definitely. I always tell people, we can definitely move mountains. In every single meeting, I'll tell them we can move mountains, because back then we were onboarding like 60 merchants a month, and I was telling them, guys, we can onboard 600, and then they will all laugh. And then 6 months later, we're onboarding 600 merchants a month, and I'm just telling them, there is this 10x, there is another order of magnitude. We're going to onboard 6,000 merchants a month, and they just completely laugh at me because they don't think it's possible. And we do it. And for every order of magnitude, we had to rebuild the company from the grounds up, and this will and this sense of doing what we are set to do and devotion, I believe, is the thing that you look for and you want in your team.
How do you stay so calm and motivated? I mean, is there anything that you do to take care of your wellness and well-being in this game? Tell us what your schedule is like, in the morning. How do you prepare for your kind of well-being in general?
Well, first of all, I don't have any social media accounts. So I don't use Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I don't have any of those. So I try to keep extremely focused and generally I try to focus on the mission. And whenever we have like a down time where there's something that's not working as we want, or that if we are not in a good position, I try just to regroup and say, our mission is that we want to do something good. And definitely we believe if we're doing what's best for our clients, in this case, the merchant, we're 100% sure that we're going to overcome that. And we always put ourselves in the position of our clients. And because we truly believe that what we're doing actually has a good impact on the merchant and on the SME. And since the SMEs are they are the ones who are powering the economy. So we truly believe in what we're doing, and that this is bringing good to actually a lot of people. So that's actually what motivates us and what's keep us going.
Amazing. That's so inspiring. Well, thank you so much, Islam. It's been so lovely to talk to you, and I'm just so proud of all the accomplishments that Paymob has had and continues to have. And Islam, can you tell us any places that you point? Let me rephrase this question because I often ask it with people who have social media. So where can people find more information about Paymob?
Well, definitely it's, you can see this, whether in interviews we've done, definitely on media. And we are intending to have more of a blog on our website in order to share some of the experiences or the things that we've done or done well or actually failed in, so people can take notice of that. So, but we've been always trying to say that, but we're so late in this. So, but definitely we're looking forward to launch this. And hopefully this podcast.
Yes, likewise. Well, thank you so much, Islam, for your time. And we will include the link to Paymob in the show notes and anything else that is relevant. So thanks again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Yasmin, for the great interview. And I enjoyed it very well.
Thank you. And for our audience, thanks for joining and for listening to Startup Confessionals.